Both the Razer Phone 2 and the Asus ROG Phone claim to be the best mobile gaming devices available. We pitted 3 gaming-focused phones against one other to see who came out on top. This could be the year when gaming phones take off. Samsung marketed the Galaxy Note 9 as the greatest mobile platform for playing Fortnite when it first launched in the summer, among other talents. The Honor Play, Huawei's cheap brand, has its own gaming phone, called for its GPU Turbo feature, which throws the smartphone into high gear while you're playing graphics-intensive games. The exteriors of the Razer and ROG phones, it seems to reason, mimic the design language of each brand's PCs. The Razer phone is simple, sleek, and monolithic, whereas the ROG phone is edgy, sharp, and covered in vents, etchings, and a variety of surfaces to boldly display its gaming heritage. Both phones have a vintage feel about them, but in different ways. The Razer Phone 2 features a 16:9 display and thick bezels that conceal the device's strong front-facing speakers. The design is unusual for a flagship in 2018, when bezel-free displays with 18:9 aspect ratios are all the rage, but I believe the speaker's performance warrants the extra space they take up. More on that later. The phone from Razer is also quite heavy, thick, and big, making it tough to operate one-handed. Both devices have RGB lighted branding and significant customization options as certified gaming phones. Razer's Chroma system, on the other hand, allows you to customize the colors per app. Meanwhile, the ROG phone incorporates additional inputs known as air triggers, which are capacitive sensors that sit on the corners of the frame and act as reprogrammable shoulder buttons. It's a fantastic answer to the problem that many gamers have on their phones: not enough screen real estate to fit all of their buttons and actions. Display? With their displays, these two handsets take dramatically different approaches. The 5.5-inch Razer employs LCD instead of AMOLED and has a smaller aspect ratio. These may appear to be substantial disadvantages, but the upside is a 120Hz refresh rate, which is faster than any other smartphone. Even at 90Hz, the ROG Phone's 6-inch panel delivers fluid graphics. Although this is better than the conventional 60Hz, given Asus' decision to use an AMOLED display, a compromise had to be made. Because the ROG Phone screen is AMOLED, you'll receive far more vibrant color and truer blacks than you would with the Razer Phone 2's LCD panel when viewing, playing, or God forbid working. As a result, it's no surprise that the ROG Phone outperforms the Razer Phone across all of our display testing measures that value color above refresh rate. Asus Phone can cover 233% of the sRGB color spectrum versus 104% for Razer, has a greater peak brightness, 538 nits versus 492, and paints more accurate hues with a delta E rating of 0.5 versus 1.2. In that test, numbers closer to 0 are better. However, the Razer Phone 2 has a higher pixel density of 512 pixels per inch than the ROG Phone, which has a pixel density of 402 pixels per inch. Even when you're just swiping back and forth through home screens, the Razer's display looks great in action. Every animation or movement on screen feels significantly smoother with a higher refresh rate. As a result, Android on the Razer Phone 2 feels noticeably more responsive than on almost any other handset. Camera. You'll get dual-lens cameras with shallow depth of field pictures regardless of which of these two gaming phones you choose. The Razer Phone 2 has two 12-megapixel cameras, whilst the ROG Phone has a primary 12-megapixel camera and a secondary 8-megapixel camera. Both devices have front-facing cameras with an 8-megapixel resolution. One of the most common criticisms about the first-generation Razer Phone was its camera's tendency to create washed-out photographs. While Razer claims that its current phone boasts Sony's greatest flagship image sensor and shoots better photographs, especially with an early software update to further adjust the cameras, our testing shows that the new phone hasn't completely abandoned its old habits. Performance. In terms of specifications, the ROG Phone has a little advantage. Despite the fact that this phone has the same Snapdragon 845 processor as the Razer Phone 2, Asus has gone so far as to overclock Qualcomm's silicon. However, the ROG Phone doesn't always function at full speed. You'll get the best results while using the device's X mode, which directs all system resources to the game in front of you. Even yet, the ROG Phone's small headroom allowed it beat the Razer Phone 2 on Geekbench 4 testing, with Asus gadgets scoring 9,224 to Razer's 8,903 points. Furthermore, the ROG narrowly edged out the Razer Phone in 3D Slingshot Extreme Graphics Challenge, with scores of 4,757 and 4,621, respectively. However, the difference was not substantial enough to be a factor when I was gaming. Both devices performed admirably in the corridor shooter Shadowgun Legends, never slowing down even when the game hurled hordes of cyborgs at me simultaneously. Battery. In our battery test, we let both phones cycle through loading web pages over LTE Mobile's network until their batteries died, and the ROG Phone beat the Razer Phone 2 by nearly an hour and a half. The ROG Phone lasted 8 hours and 59 minutes, however the Razer Phone only lasted 7:21 minutes. Software. Both Asus and Razer phones come with Android 8.1 Oreo out of the box, but they go about installing Google's operating system in quite different ways. The Razer Phone has a more stock feel to it, with the exception of Razer's black and green color scheme and a few minor tweaks to items like the camera app, whereas the ROG Phone uses Zen UI, Asus' own Android interface. Zen UI has long been the personification of everything I despise about the worst Android skins. It doesn't look great, it modifies a lot of standard Android behaviors for the sake of change, and it can be confusing and overwhelming to use at times. All of this is true of the ROG Phone, but Asus has also reskinned the device's skin to make it more gamer-friendly and to complement the device's edgy aesthetic. Advertisement. Both companies have stated that they will update these devices to Android 9 Pie as soon as possible, while the exact timeframe is unknown at this time. Accessories. The ROG Phone outperforms the competition in terms of accessory selection. There's a desktop dock that turns the phone into a mini PC with plenty of ports, including an SD card reader, a special controller and dock combo that Asus claims guarantees zero latency, a twin-view dock that turns the phone into the Android equivalent of a Nintendo 3DS, and adds a 6000 mAh battery and a clip-on cooling fan to boost the device's performance during particularly taxing gaming sessions. Availability and price. The Razer Phone 2 isn't only less expensive than the $899 ROG Phone, it's also less expensive than the vast majority of flagships. Given the strength of the device's features, Razer deserves credit for achieving such a low price. And, to add to the device's worth, Razer is working hard to get it authorized for both CDMA and GSM carriers, including Verizon. That means you'll soon be able to use Razer's device on any network in the United States. The ROG Phone, on the other hand, costs $100 extra and only works on GSM networks like AT&T and T-Mobile's.